Good evening and welcome to Nightfall in Amsterdam. Tonight we're joining a number of guru. For those of you who have been following, some of these guru are the same bunch that were uh, responsible for liberating some captured kinfolk as well as dealing with some aggressive Fomori, possible human traffickers, and subsequently burning down a building in the red light district of Amsterdam. Uh, since then, those kinfolk have been um, kind of in a refugee type state at the tavern here, ran by Colin, as it's a place that's known to be friendly for Guru and the supernatural community. This evening, however, um, a number of additional Guru have showed up. Um, as they've been asked to do a rite of cleansing for the kinfolk as well as the Gru who are involved, having been in a high traffic area for banes and other worm corruption. Connor has come, or excuse me, Connor's here already. But the Sept has sent um, a number of Guru that Connor, who has been staying with the refugees, is greeting and chatting with. He will motion to, excuse me, to Air and Colin, if they would like to come over. He will formally introduce them to some of the Guru that have arrived that he knows.
Air will definitely get in on that.
Yep, Colin will 100% come on over and probably introduce himself when they come in the bar.
He informs you that he's got a number of friends that have come from the excuse me, have come from the Sept to help out. But specifically, tonight he has load for me. A rather unusual individual.
Static.
Apparently, I didn't like the picture format. I had it in such. going to be difficult. Because why wouldn't it? Yeah. Gestures to this gentleman, who is in fact wearing that large coat and carrying that many weapons, although they're not quite that obvious. Um, and he says, "This is my friend Kulik. He has agreed to come and serve as security, so to speak." A full moon, I think, out of Russia. I think he would be a good candidate to keep our kin safe.
Considering what they've been through.
You know, more importantly, if they were in fact being bartered by the Guru themselves, as it's suspected. His people have no love for the Silver Fangs. Probably because they've never been acknowledged.
Aries.
Yeah, it just turns and the man kind of steps forward and he says, uh, looks like he's going to spit on the floor, and then he kind of looks around and he says, "The arrogant Silver Fangs, they have no respect. We fight. If we die, they take up positions in the old empire, but they have no respect for us." He pounds a fist on the bar and he says, "Those were our lands." We live in the outskirts of a so-called country. He shakes his head and he says, "We have no respect for the ancestral blood that flows in our veins. And if they come here, it will make them as red as the nation and empire that they sought to support."
And that the things here are no better.
He sneers and he says, "They never are. They don't change. Russia, yeah, America. They're all arrogant.
Arrogant, we can deal with. It's them being okay with betraying the mother
Try straight
in
up.
this instance.
This is their arrogance. They think they know better than the rest.
But when it comes to allowing our kin to be put into corrupt knowingly, that crosses a line beyond arrogance.
He just turns and spits and he says, "Why do you think the Mushroom mob has existed as long as it does?" They are no different. They build in their very name their arrogance. The idea of silver, the silver spoon, the elite, and they put it right in their name. And then they wonder why others do not trust them.
I certainly don't trust them.
He turns and he says, "It matters not. They come near my these kinfolk. We will deal with them. He'll take them to places where the sun never rises and the snow never melts, and they will no longer exist."
They don't call me Wrens or Enemy's Skulls for nothing.
He turns and he says, "But I am not the only one you are here to talk to. I am just the muscle, as it were." We want Mystic, I imagine. Is she the right master?
Yes.
Uh, I would assume that you're kind of sitting in on the conversation, just trying to catch a drift of what all is going on.
Yeah, I mean, my guy's probably just Lucas is just chilling at the bar, taking it all in. I assume he hasn't been in town for very long. Probably this is his first night, and then he's overhearing this conversation. I would assume, and just kind of waiting to see where it goes.
Seems
Or was actually out of character. He was sent here from the other set, right? for this purpose?
They sent him saying, "Hey, there's some shit going down, and we want you to kind of go and help out. We think it'd be a good place for you."
Oh, okay.
There's more going on over there. So feel free to go get yourself involved because the other sept was a little more stable.
All right. So when he pauses, then kind of turn and interrupt. And excuse me for interrupting. I couldn't have helped but overhear what you guys were talking about. I'm from the other sept. They said you guys may need some help, so I'm here. My name's Lucas. I'm a Cleith Glasswalker Metis from the States. A Galliard.
The
The other.
Connor
Yeah.
kind of nods to you. Good the call got out that we could use some help.
Yeah, I heard about the fire. I guess that was your guys' handiwork.
Well, yes.
Cool. So I'm kind of new here. Obviously, I have no idea what's going on other than I heard about the fire and some maybe trafficking business. What's the next steps?
Well, I think we do need to talk with that incident to get more answers. What I know is that they were taken by those at the sector. They were taken there by Guru. And put into a very much corrupted environment beyond just the trafficking. Like there were Femori involved.
Were they? I'm assuming they were.
And being as
that took them. Or have you encountered them?
No, I don't. They are those. There are some members of the. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up the sept name because I'm having a. Is it the Sept of the Frozen Forest?
That was the. Yeah, that would be the old sept, or the public sept that everyone knows about.
Right. Yes, the Sept of the Frozen Forest. I believe some of their elders and the fact of the matter, it was I suspect a little more than human trafficking, being as there were from where I involved and was a brothel.
Right.
But they were only taking kin of pure blood. Those that may, for lack of better wording, potentially be a threat.
Was there a specific tribe involved that the kin were pure breeds of?
It didn't matter. They weren't. It didn't matter. They weren't. I don't think any of them were of theirs, but I certainly know that there was a variety of tribes, kinfolk involved.
Connor kind of speaks up. He says, well, they certainly did not go after any Silver Fang kin, that's true. Nor were there Shadow Lord kin, but they're kin of the Fianna, some of the Get, although those with direct relations to the Get who remained on that sept were safe.
Of course.
Has anyone gone and talked to them at the sept yet? I take that as
No.
all right.
Very much a plan of me. Some of the members of their sept left with me and stand against them.
The fire is all done now, right? There's no more. Like that was a couple nights ago. Is that right?
That's correct.
Though I hear rumors that they have a body that they can't figure out the cause of death for. Guess definitely not. It was one of us that was the cause of death. But
well, inspecting bodies is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. If you take my meaning.
definitely, it's not exactly one of my strengths either. Though probably shouldn't give him a chance to figure it out either.
Has anyone done any bail cleanup?
We did our best to keep that under wraps. There's no, as far as I know, the Fomori bodies were dealt with. There was only one, and it was wrapped. But that's what the fire was for, to get rid of that. I think.
I don't know much about
the humans.
Do you think any of the Banes are still around that we could go interrogate them?
I'm sure that there are Banes around.
Yeah, hard pass.
She kind of motions at Colin and like back and forth between the two of them. We sort of kind of tend to we're a beacon to spirits, as it were.
I'm a bit of a beacon myself.
There can't be three of us in one group. That can't end well.
No, that can't end well.
Anyway. Well, this is your show, so I'll follow your guys' lead.
Out of character, I just got disconnected, and I'm just hopping back in, so I missed most of that conversation.
Okay.
It's basically getting me up to speed with the fire.
Yep. Well, that body is concerning. Like I said, I want to get the kinfolk sorted first so we know what we're dealing with there. I mean, we know that a body was found in the fire. We don't know much more than that. It's the red light district, so there's Banes everywhere.
Yeah.
You go ahead and run that check, and when you get a chance, I've got a license warrant check.
It was super quiet. I didn't hear what you just said.
Eric might be getting some background noise.
So what do we want to go liberate this corpse from the morgue then, or?
Well, I mean, that might be necessary, but I suppose we'd have to figure out, was that mentioned even in the post? Where exactly, what morgue exactly they're in.
Well, you said you're a glass walker, right?
Yep.
I am not a glass walker.
Computers.
Oh.
My picture?
No, how are you with computers?
Oh. I don't think I have it. Hang on a second. I haven't really ever done anything on the computer side. I'm really more of the, heavy metal guitarist kind of glass walker.
Do you know someone that's good with computers? I mean, I could do a Google search and find the morgue, but there's probably multiples.
Abby would be the one to talk to, and, well, obviously she's not present.
That's a good point. We could just find Abby.
Yeah, everybody that I know that would be good at that kind of thing is back in the States.
Connor turns to the door
I'm not.
where you guys are talking, and he goes, shit.
What?
You always get someone who can help, but you're not sure if you want help. That'd be the one.
And
He turns and he says, "Well, I guess I have the pleasure of introducing Caroline DeGraff of the Bone Gnawers. Caroline, these fine folks were just discussing something I'm sure you'd be wonderful at. Find a joint and rob it." And she kind of laughs and looks at you guys and says, "Sounds like a right party."
How do you feel about robbing bodies?
She smirks and says, "Well, it ain't no 7-Eleven, but..."
Oh. You gotta find out where exactly. Rob it, though.
She looks and she goes, "Really? You guys don't know how to find a morgue?"
Well, I'm sure I could open a phone book and find a bunch of morgues.
You could. But usually ask the homeless. That's always a good option. I got news for you. A lot of them end up in the morgue.
But we
More
have to find the
importantly-
right morgue.
More importantly, they know which morgues their friends end up in, so they can get their shit.
That's fair. You know, come to think of it, thought I found a few in the district.
Homeless or morgues or bodies?
Homeless.
From the sounds of this town, probably all three.
It's likely that I made the corpse in morgue, so...
She turns and she says, "Welcome to paradise, right?" On the upside, do you want to fight Baines and fight the worm? You're in the right place, my friend.
What I live for.
That's what I like to hear.
She looks around and she goes, "Suppose y'all were looking for the urge, though, 'cause you all fuckers stink. Like, I thought I was bad. I'm a bone gnawer in Amsterdam, but Christ."
I mean, I can help a little bit, but I can't really help myself on that matter. Shower ain't gonna cut this stink.
Oh, sure ain't. A lot of showers ain't gonna cut that. Well, at least it don't warrant a bath.
Nope.
I guess that's something.
Small victories.
Take what you can get.
Right.
I suppose you all want a crescent moon. Probably, preferably a rice master, eh?
That'd be
That would,
handy. I mean, I know how to do the right of cleanse. I said self.
I basically know how to stand on the other side and make grunts and hand gestures, so I've no help here at all.
I mean, sometimes those are helpful depending on what you're trying to do.
Touche.
At least you're offering effort. And can't ask for more than that sometimes.
All right.
She chuckles and she says, "Oh, this should be good."
Yeah.
She looks to Connor and she goes, "I'll screw with a lot of shit in this city, but I ain't calling you race master. That fucking thing's on you." He kind of rubs his face a little bit. And he looks at you guys and says, "Well, this should be interesting." He sends a text message and says, "You don't talk much, but he's on his way." Meantime, we all might want a drink.
Lucas orders everyone around, what with him not having any concept of what this European money's actually worth.
I hear the whiskey's good here.
Yeah, I bet you do hear that, huh?
Beer too.
All right.
Oh boy.
Do they have anybody? Is there like a stage area where they would have live music at this place?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, tables can be moved and tents can be set up outside.
I was just thinking about breaking out the guitar while we wait, but it may not be the right place or time.
got to make prior arrangements.
Cool. Well, we should set something up for that, and I can get the rest of my band here, and we'll send everyone home with broken eardrums.
There's the Connor, the Irish guy, says, "You guys are gonna want to drink up."
That bad?
He just kind of looks at you and says, "It ain't good."
Shot of beer for everyone.
There's at him, drink in hand, waiting for it. She takes a slow drink as she's staring at Connor.
He looks at everyone and he says, "I'll tell you right now, I've seen some ugly things. I've seen some downright unpleasant things. I've seen some things I don't really want an explanation for." The rates master fits the description of pretty much all of those.
Sounds like a interesting gentleman.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay.
And about that time, you notice a number of people kind of shying away from the door. As it gets eased open. Yeah. Caroline drops a scrap of paper. It looks like almost like a grocery bag, and it's got a cell number on it. She says, "Well, I'm out. You guys call me if they're when you're ready for my help, but there's some things I just don't tangle with. And that fella there is all of them. Good luck."
Great. Thanks. Air's her bag.
And everybody kind of starts to still somewhat pull back, but they're trying to be a little more discreet about it. As this gentleman enters,
Lucas isn't really being discreet at all, and just kind of trying to figure out what everybody's issues are.
he pulls back his hood, and that's literally what his face looks like. And there's a distinct scent of the grave to him.
Air raises an eyebrow, noting the smell.
Colin will just stare.
He walks up, and as he does, you know, as she's walking, it's not really a cane, but he's got a walking stick, and he's kind of leaning on it somewhat heavily. And he looks at Connor. He says, "What in the hell did you do now?" And Connor says, "Oh, you know, bring some kinfolk back from the red light district, human trafficking, lots of Banes. You know how that neighborhood is, and well, when we need a rite of cleansing, Petrus, you're the expert." And he kind of looks at me and he says, "You think that's funny, don't you? Move along before I give you what's for. I'll deal with this mess. Try not to start any more before I finish this one." Then he turns and looks at Aaron, Colin, and he says, "Do I even want to ask the details?"
Giant femori from hell?
The kinfolk were taken by other Guru into a, well, brothel, for lack of better wording, in the red light district. And we liberated them. Though it might just be worse than a rite of cleansing, considering the previously mentioned Femori.
You're right, we need a rite of accomplishment, too.
Air just kind of looks at Colin like, oh no, one thing. Like, she just like kind of looks at him like, seriously?
Well, we had to ask sometime.
One thing at a time.
He says, "All right, well, it ain't going to take care of itself." He just kind of shakes his head. He says, "You know, at least if I'm going to go tangle with getting myself all covered in worm filth, I at least make it interesting."
And how would you do that?
He says, "Well, good combination of getting cursed by a worm worshipping cairn stealer while tearing the throat out and inadvertently consuming a grave touched leech."
Air just kind of like looks at him like, Can't even describe the look she's giving him, but it's like, are you fucking serious?
So, do they make a lotion for that?
That qualifies as interesting.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Chuckles, he says, yeah, they make a lotion, all right. It's silver, liquid.
Okay.
Still doesn't help permanently, but
Someone needs to take a trip to the deep, Umbra.
he says, looks at you and he says, been there, went swimming, wouldn't recommend it.
Oh boy.
Still doesn't take care of the issue.
Can air. Oh, let me see if I even. Thing is, I'm only Clea. I'm not sure I would know this, but can I? An intelligence spirit lore to make a suggestion of maybe trying to talk to Eshtara about helping with that. Thing is, Eshtara would fall under spirits.
You'd think so. Yeah, if you want to roll it, that's fine. Probably a diff 7.
Because I said Holly knows this, but I'm not going to pretend my Cleoth knows this. Seven, you said? Oh, I have 4 successes. So I think it's safe to say that I know it. Have you considered possibly taking a nice umbrella quest and trying to speak with Eshtara? She seems like she might be assist with that.
Yeah, I've tried a couple of different routes. Even had a Helios try and burn the corruption out of me.
Ouch.
Wouldn't recommend that one either.
No, I can't imagine why you wouldn't recommend it.
I suppose you want. I can come here to chit chat about my adventures. You need some sort of cleansing.
Yeah, I'm guessing a lot less intense than yours.
Boy, you better hope so.
Bonar made it a point to tell us how bad we smelled. I think it's pretty severe. if you are willing to assist us with that, we would very much appreciate it.
He says, yeah, I got some ideas. So, certainly would have been easier just, not wade directly into the worm filth.
I am not entirely sure there was another way to go about it.
Next time, Dr. Yeshi first. The Tibetan has a number of talons. I don't know how he replenishes them, if he crafts them himself or if he has them sent over, but small jade eggs that absorb the worm taint briefly.
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah, I should talk to him. It'd be interesting to make some.
As I said, I don't know if it's something he makes or something he trades for.
Either way, that knowledge would be very useful.
I imagine it would. In the meantime, though, a little late for that.
Is there anything we can do to help you?
He kind of rubs his forehead for a minute, and he says, yeah, if you could. He says, I need. Well, let's go with a fairly large pitcher of water.
Fair enough. I'll go get it. I'll go back out to the stream that I've been cleaning and get the water from there.
That'll be perfect. He takes a small pouch out of a pocket and then pulls out a second one. And he says, yeah, if you guys folks could, any of them that need to be cleansed, get them at least sitting in the area.
I want to look around and make sure all the kin that we saved were there. I think we're just missing one wolf.
Oh, I can worry about that. That one after. One is a lot easier and perhaps a traditional rite of cleansing will be sufficient. in the meantime, he takes one pouch and sprinkles it into the water, stirs it in real good. And he says, we'll need everyone to take ideally a small sip of this before we sprinkle it over there.
Okay.
Colin's just going to be watching with rapt attention.
And then he looks at you and he says, you got anything metal? Sheet pan, cookie sheet?
Yeah, I'll run back in the kitchen and get him a variety of cooking instruments and implements, and he can choose.
He takes four sheet pans, sets one on each side of the group. And then he takes out the from the other pouch, he takes ashes, which he sprinkles into the four pans, forming a number of different glyphs. And then he looks at you two and he says, to you two, though, you had to go and make it worse. He gestures, he says, they're kin, they're only on this side. But you guys are on both sides. So that worm taint is glued to you guys. So he motions you guys over and dips two fingers into the ash and starts tracing glyphs on each of you. Says, this ain't gonna wash off, so where you want it?
Colin will just take off his shirt and say, find a spot. He's got all sorts of glyph tattooed all over him.
He just kind of looks at him a little bit. And then he traces a spot across your chest where he puts a number of different glyphs traced in ash. Turns to Aaron, he says, and for you, young lady?
She'll just kind of move her shirt off to the side and open up the spot over her chest.
He'll turn to Lucas and he'll say, well, you're the new guy here, obviously, because you ain't picked up on all of it, but if you don't want to miss out on the fun.
Oh, sure thing, boss. pulls his shirt off and gives him the back.
He traces it. Then he turns and he starts to he walks over to each of the sheep hands in a counterclockwise fashion as he starts with a chant. Real guttural. And it seems to be switching languages a couple times. But as he gets to the end, he lets out a real harsh howl. And it echoes. And the kinfolk who drank all kind of turn and start to cough. And they're coughing up a real thick phlegm. The ash that he's tracing glyphs bursts into a green flame, including the ash that is traced on you guys.
Ouch.
You notice across his fairly gaunt skeletal form, similar glyphs burst into flame as well. He kind of grits his teeth, takes a whistling breath through his teeth as he inhales. And then as he lets it out again, he lets out, exhales. The flames all seem to blow out. And you get this like bluish, almost toxic looking smoke. He takes another deep breath and the smoke is drawn into his mouth. And he turns and he says, "Yep, you guys definitely had to make it worse."
Made it worse.
Well, not deliberately, I'm sure, but again, they're kin. They don't pick up and carry around worm taint like we do. And he looks at you guys and he says, "This thing you guys said you fought it tooth and claw too, didn't you?"
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, well, side effect, something nobody ever thinks about, is tooth and claw means you're putting parts of yourselves into the worm and taking parts of the worm into you. No way around it.
And what other way is there?
Well, as I said, no way around it. I mean, unless you earn yourself a clave of some sort or something to that effect. He kind of taps his walking stick as he says that. Not many things better, unless you got a damn good smith.
So the question is, how do we get our part back from the worm and give the worm his part back?
Well, you ain't got to worry about that. That's what the ritual is for you. Get it all cleaned out. Scrub under the nails, as it were. Brush your teeth. A little flossing. Yeah, kind of gestures to the tattoos. He goes, fortunately, the ash leaves a little bit of a burn, but what are you going to do?
It's a small price to pay.
He gestures to the burned in glyphs. He says, see those start to glow with that greenish flame again. You might want to take a little downtime. It means you're spending too much time around the worm deep in his territory.
Is this kind of like a worm's tooth?
I don't know if I'm familiar with the worm's tooth.
It basically glows green when you come in contact with the worm.
Well, yes,
It's a fetish type deal.
yes and no, because it also will absorb the taint out of you.
Okay. Mean we need to take some downtime?
Well, you're good right now, but if it starts glowing, it means that you've exposed yourself to a whole bunch of the worm again, and he's getting into you. You know, he'll get into that, which it glows green. That's the drawback, but the upside is you won't stink unless you overload it. It can only hold so much.
That was my next question. So it's a vessel for corruption.
Right. Luckily, here I was able to shunt it off. I cheated and create the fetishes as part of the cleansing ritual. Otherwise, I got to burn you twice.
Well, you drink for free here.
He chuckles and he says, generally, people don't tell you thank you after you horrendously burn them.
Like I said, a small price to pay.
He says, well, I'm sure you're not the only one who feels that way.
Right.
Because the upside,
Filter will make things a lot easier going forward.
is the spirit of this city's used to corruption. Shunting it back to that spirit wasn't as horrible as it would have been elsewhere.
Would you be open to teaching this rite to me? Then maybe I could help with the cleansing in the future.
He says, well, I can teach you a regular rite of cleansing. This one, probably not. It incorporates things you're better off not touching.
I'll take what I can get.
He says that one I can certainly teach you, no problem.
If you'd be willing to accept it, I have a talent that I just created that I could trade you.
I'll teach you so you just so you have it. Maybe then they won't have to call me next time. You seem like the healing sort, though. Got a feeling there's others at the sept that can teach you as well.
Oh, there. And she just kind of glances at Colin with a chuckle.
Well, I try to learn from everywhere I go.
I know cleansing, however, it's said just can't do it to myself.
I see.
Yeah. He'll look at you and he'll say, "Oh, do I find myself in the good fortune to be in the presence of a couple of crescent moons?"
That would be us.
He'll look at Lucas and say, "Don't tell me you're a crescent as well."
I'm a Galliard.
We always need singers.
That's what I do.
And then he looks at Aaron. He says, "You don't strike me as the healing type, though."
She practices preventative medicine.
Sure, that's one way to put it. I tend to deal more with summoning spirits and beating the shit out of things.
Well, that I can certainly relate to. I will have to perhaps swap some old war stories, as it were.
Ooh.
Have you pick up on a couple things?
I like the sound of that.
Well, he says, I think we should be all set here. The folks there are probably going to want something to eat. Vomiting out worm corruption, not real pleasant.
Right. Is there a truth catcher about somewhere?
Sure there is.
I'd like to, I don't think any of them are going to, lie about what happened in there, but I think it's prudent that we have a truth catcher just to be safe.
I mean, if you just need someone to make sure they're being honest, I can help with that. I've may have picked up a right or two in my time spent with the half moons. And my tribe's fairly well known for their half moons not being real forgiving.
That is also true. I think I'm down to the bottom of what exactly happened there and what, if anything, there is potentially left to deal with. Like, our friend Abby was able to get video footage of some familiar faces going in and out of this building in the red light district, but it might be best to hear what's what from from them. Much as it sucks to make them have to explain it all, it needs to be said.
It also needs to be heard.
Yes, it does. You can't lie to the spirits. They know. They have eyes and ears too.
Yeah, sure do.
She's kind of like eyeing up the kinfolk.
Well, suppose we can run through to a nice little interview process.
Right.
But you may want to consider as well, if that's the most efficient, might be easier to do a roundup, get the whole story first, and then get individual details. A lot of people get nervous about getting a collective story, but the thing is, you can pick up on a lot of inconsistencies from a collective story.
You know, I mean, that's true. And we don't even know if they all endured the same things. They as a group, and yeah, talk to them individually after that.
Well, we're all here, and there's no time like the present.
Yep.
So he will kind of just approach them to tell their stories. Basically, his primary goal is get the overall of the story. What
Right.
what happened in there, that sort of thing.
Was there only the one that Air recognized, the one kinfolk, or were there a couple? I can't remember. I think there were like two, but I could be wrong.
There were a
Maybe
couple.
more.
And they tell you that they They specifically, because they actually obviously knew the Guru because they're from the area. And so they tell you that it was the one that initially captured them or sort of grabbed them was a couple of the Magnuson family. A couple of kinfolk kind of worked, or approached them, and then they were grabbed from behind. But that they recognized some of the voices and seemed like it was primarily the Silver Fangs, some Shadow Lords, and the Magnuson family, and basically they were looking to purify the families or the tribes locally by getting rid of families with bad blood or that were not good for the sept. And the rest of the kinfolk, a lot of them are not directly from the area, but kind of tell somewhat the same tale. That they were grabbed, they were bartered off, and it basically the ongoing theme was, that they didn't belong here, they weren't good for here.
So they are trying to push everyone.
Lucas is getting visibly angry by all this.
So is Air.
He starts piping off. I'm no child of Gaia hippie or anything, but this is ridiculous. We all need to be working together. It's completely ridiculous. We need to be protecting these people, not selling them off like cattle.
They're corrupt to the core. Anyone that treats their kinfolk like that.
I think they were trying to find others and my sister. Not to mention everybody else. They still have my parents.
So the question is, what do we do with this information?
I think we start by getting Caroline on the phone and having her tell us where that morgue is.
Well, we do have that loose end to tie up.
We do have that loose. Right.
Unless you guys want to go in guns blazing, but I think we should have more information first.
I don't think doing that in a morgue is necessarily appropriate.
No, not at the morgue, at the sept.
At the sept. As much as I'd like to go guns blazing, being as the history of this sept probably means a lot more to some of us than others. Subtlety needs to happen here.
investigate.
already know that we've messed up their human trafficking operation.
Well, maybe you watch for him to panic then.
Petra says, more importantly, they know that you're aware of what they were doing and that you just got a substantial set of reinforcements. What they're not aware of is the fact that you have the support of a sept, that other children of Gaia's creations are supportive of you as well.
They do not hear, right? I intend to keep it that way. Right?
Be a good plan. Same reason I keep myself unknown.
Until the time is right.
Air just kind of smiles at him when he says, "That's why I keep myself unknown."
He hands you guys a card with a cell number, and he goes, next time this is the right master for the sept. She can always assist with things like this. I act in a similar capacity from time to time, but I don't really have a formal title. What happens when you're technically not part of a nation? Sept is ran by or led by a variety of not guru. Don't mistake me, they do an excellent job, but titles and responsibilities get all twisted up.
Well, thank you for your assistance, and like I said, you're always welcome here.
Appreciate that. Not many places I am welcome. Oh, you go to the morgue, maybe I should tag along. I'd probably fit in.
Air tries not to chuckle. Wow.
Well, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?
Guess I wasn't expecting that remark.
He says, well, I laughed at the child of Cain after I finished with him. Laughed at that mage, that Cairn sealer, who had to expend every last breath to curse me. And it wasn't enough to kill me. Oh, sure, they made it beyond uncomfortable. But it has to happen sometimes too.
So do we want to head out to the morgue then, or what do you guys want to do?
Yeah. about what morgue first, and I think we have a call to make in order to get help there.
Connor comes over. He says, "Nor do we focus on getting these kin now that they're cleansed, back to the sept, settled in. Get the new guy introduced. Get everything else squared up, and look at handling this morgue when we have all our assets. Abby seems like she'd be useful on this.
Oh, definitely.
We can see when Vano is available. His illusions can be helpful.
Oh, yes, they can.
Wily as a fox, as they say.
Can't imagine why they'd say that. I think we should definitely deal with we're focusing on the morgue. Getting you introduced would probably be a wise thing as well. She kind of glances at Lucas.
Connor says, "Well, I've met him. I can pass word around, but this isn't the Beast Courts of the East or something where we need to do a formal introduction."
We can always swing by the sept and see if we can find who we need to find there.
True enough.
Yep. Besides, getting the kinfolk to safety might be key. And, it's not like I'm fairly certain that enemies are eventually going to figure out your bar, Colin. Hate to say it.
Yeah, I'm trying to take steps.
And as long as they aren't here, should be good to go. I don't think they'll actively try anything stupid, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm trying to take what steps I can, but long term, the kinfolk can't all stay here either. I don't have room.
Right, and I think you might want to look into some kind of spirit wards or something.
I'm working on it. I'm courting the spirits all around my bar as it is. I'm trying to build up favors.
Very well. Maybe you can talk to Abby about some kind of systems.
That would be a good idea. As of now, I think as long as we don't make it a target, they'll probably ignore it.
We hope. But better to
We
be
hope.
safe than sorry.
Kulik comes over. He says, "You have vodka?"
Have what?
Vodka?
Of course.
Then you have Bouncer.
Perfect. All you can drink vodka.
He smirks and he turns to Connor. He says, "Hear that, Irishman? All I can drink. Bet you don't get a deal like that."
He gets the same deal. The more you I have drinking here, the safer it is.
Connor don't want me drinking here. I'll just drink him under the table. She smirks and elbows him in the arm. All right.
At that point, Petra says, "Well, then I suggest we, if our plan is get these individuals to accept, no point in waiting."
Right.
Get them there, get everybody settled in.
Oh. That sounds good to me.
Who's driving?
Good question. Who's driving? I've got the Invisimobile.
I'm also good for a Hispo Umbra run too, if that's easier.
If that works for you, though, some of us have to stick with the kinfolk. They can't make that trip.
Right.
Petra says, "I can help convey the kinfolk as well."
All right. So Air is going to help with the kinfolk.
How many kinfolk are there?
There was over a dozen.
Okay. If we go rustle up a bus, do any of you guys know how to drive one?
I don't think Air has anything in drive. Nope.
Petra says, "Well, if I step out, I know the Miss Caroline does, but she doesn't particularly care for me."
Yeah, she's kind of quick to get out of here.
Yeah, I don't think it's entirely personal either. She has an extraordinary sense of smell, and I have an extraordinary smell.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique smell. Not gonna. deny that. She's gonna hand Colin the paper bag that Caroline left and say, why don't you call her and find out if she can at least get the kinfolk there, and I'll go with her. That way she doesn't have to, no offense, endure your smell.
There's no offense. I'm fully aware of what I am.
And we can all potentially just ride this bus.
You guys are going to give Caroline a call?
She handed the paper bag to Colin because it's his business phone.
She says she can get something over there and she can drive. No problem.
Awesome.
She shows up just a short time later with quite a few of those like Pine Fresh air fresheners.
Guess that's one way to handle it.
And she says, well, I'm ready to go.
Everybody else ready?
Yep, load them up.
It's like an old school bus type bus. You guys all get loaded up and head back to the Sept. Unless there's anything specific you guys want to do there, I can wrap it up here.
I pretty much hang out with kinfolk once we get there, get them situated and acclimated to this new place.
Alright. You guys gonna head back to the Sept, get everybody kind of situated, and call it good. Alright. Well, that should do it then. Well, thank you players for playing and watchers for watching. This has been an episode of the werewolf venue of Nightfall in Amsterdam. And we look forward to seeing you again.